You're listening to the Ask Drone U podcast. You ask, we answer your drone questions. Whether you're here to turn your passion into profit or you simply fly for fun, we're a community of learners and teachers who aspire to achieve greatness. We are
Drone U.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Paul.
And my name is Rob, and this is episode number 556. Thanks, guys.
Kind of sucked that one up. That one sucked.
No, it didn't.
I thought it was kind of like meh.
Did you guys think that sucked? I didn't think that sucked at all. All I know is that this is episode number 556, and we're going to press on.
All right, we're pressing on. I got vetoed there. My face is red.
Normally, I'm the one getting vetoed, so we're going to roll with it this time.
I just got vetoed. I'm okay with it. Anyway, he is wearing the crown or the cap, whatever you want to call it.
Apparently the cap holds some weight. I didn't know that.
Before we get too far into this show, this is actually going to be a really exciting show. We've got some insider information, leaked information on what you're going to see at NAB 2017. That is the National Association of Broadcasters. This is a big conference, and for many years, DJI has released new products at this conference. And guess what, guys? We're going to see some new products as well. Now, I'm sure many of you are saying, oh yeah, the Spark. I'm not talking about the Spark, nor do I really care about the Spark, to be honest with you guys. A lot of people do.
Cool.
Here's what the Spark is really good for, Rob. Plain and simple. You need a good drone to really become good at flying, something that if you break it, it's really not that big of a deal. The Spark is going to be that thing because you'll get familiar with DJI's controllability, the interface of using a DJI drone. But other than that, I really don't see a use for it.
Do we know how much the Spark's going to cost since we brought it up?
Negative Ghost Rider.
Okay, cool. I like being called Ghost Rider.
Anyway, but also a quick shout out for our sponsors. If you're trying to live the drone life yourself, you want to have a life like me, which I'm reluctant to have. It's taken a couple years to get there, but you totally can if you want to live the drone life. Check out the book, Living the Drone Life, written by yours truly and Mr. Rob Burdick over there, who provides the business insight in the book, but more importantly, showcases one of the most important aspects of getting continuing business in your drone business. Do you remember what that was? Remember when we were on the call with the book writer? Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my gosh, why didn't I talk about that? Do you remember that?
I don't.
The referral-based business.
Yeah.
That's a powerful
That's really
thing.
important. And yeah, you're right. That's very important. And that is discussed in the book. That's true.
So get yours today, droneubook.com. And if you leave us a review, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, big special thank you to our sponsor, VideoBlocks. VideoBlocks.com is a subscription-based stock video and stock photo site. So if you need clips for any production that you're producing, maybe you need some copyright video, maybe you need some motion graphics, whatever you need, you can get it over at VideoBlocks.com. Is it videoblocks.com/drone? Do we have a special link here, Bob?
It is videoblocks.com/drone.
Oh, /drone. Okay.
Yep. No, you in this one.
And if you go to that website, guess what, guys? You're going to have access for free for 7 days to check it out and see if it's right for you. Because that's what we want to do is we want to put stuff out there. And if it's right for you, great. If it's not right for you, that's fine. Because guess what? We're all different and we're all unique. And we all have different needs. Anyway, guys, again, special thank you to our sponsors. And since we don't have a question today, Rob, we can just kind of hammer right into it.
Yeah, so what you wanted to do today was talk about NAB, as you've alluded to, and talk about some of the things that you've heard that people can expect to see there. And by the way, when is NAB? It's 22nd through the 27th of April, right? So it's coming up here pretty soon.
It is.
We'll be out there.
We will.
Right, filming, checking things out, saying hi to people.
I almost made the mistake of saying where we're staying. I was like, oh, come and visit us. No. That'll turn into a craze storm way too fast. So I shouldn't do that. But I am really excited about NAB. Rob, as you know, I used to teach at NAB way back in the day. Before I even worked at Drone U, I was a trainer for the National Association of Broadcasters, training other people how to fly drones. And it was probably one of the most fun times I've ever had. But the manager and group organizer who I worked with is no longer NAB, and they are doing something totally different this year, which I'm not sure what it is, but the last few years had kind of gone downhill, and I'm not sure as to why. I wasn't there. I don't know, but I will say some of the things I learned from the NAB training are now going to be incorporated into the Drone U fly-in, because again, I want the Drone U fly-in to be so different, so unique, so much fun that everyone is going to be like, why didn't we come up with the idea to throw drone conferences like this? So
yeah, it's interesting. It's going to be so much fun, and we're all very excited about it. But what is interesting to me about it is why it's unique. Like, to go actually fly a drone at a drone conference, I'm still trying to figure that out. So this is turning into a little bit of a little publicity thing for NAB, and that's okay because it's pretty cool. But I wanted to ask you, why should people go to NAB since we're talking about it?
I think NAB is a really good opportunity to network and build relationships with people who are in the production industry itself. NAB has always been the largest production conference in the country. I mean, and not only in the country, really in the world. Yeah, they have NAB New York, but it's not that big. There is NAB, what is it, Shanghai Ilker now or something? I can't remember. Somewhere in Asia, they have an NAB, but people flock to NAB if you're in production. It is the National Association of Broadcasters. So in the last 5 years, it's really kind of turned over even from traditional broadcasting to all forms of broadcasting like online media. But for me, I've met people there. I've gotten jobs because of NAB, production jobs. I've created relationships. I've even been able to get some cool free stuff from NAB, which is always fun. But for drone pilots, you get to see what DJI pushes out. This is such a big conference for DJI. This is like they're about to ramp up for summer for their new line of product. And whenever they're going to drop something new, they do it here.
Yeah, very cool. And so what are we expecting this year?
All right. So first of all, everyone knows about the DJI Spark. It's been talked about on the other podcasts concerning drones, which I find interesting. But the Spark is a little bit smaller than the Mavic. It's not going to have fully stabilized gimbal. It looks like it's kind of a 2-axis gimbal. It's a little bit smaller. Capability is going to be about the same. I'm guessing it's a lower price point and lower entry into the market to continue to draw more people in.
The little bit that I've seen on it, it seems almost more like a racer.
It does kind of look like a little racer. And it looks like something that you can throw around and bash around and it's going to be okay, is kind of what it looks like to me.
Yeah, and like even designed to be FPV based, right?
It does kind of look like that, huh? But in all actuality, here's how much I care about the DJI Spark. Are you ready for this?
Oh boy, here we go.
0. Sorry.
I care because I think it's cool, and it sounds like it might be fun to fly.
Well, no, it's just kind of the joke between, there's like this, it's funny, there's like tiers of the community, and I don't mean the drone community, I mean like the drone community, and everyone who I've talked to, all of my like insider sources, everyone's like, I went over and talked to maybe 3 people and verified the information I'm about to tell everyone, and one person said, don't tell me you're actually excited about the Spark. Like, no, I'm not, but some other people out there may be. But for me, it's definitely not that exciting. But moving on, what else are we going to see at NAB? Because there's some new things. Well, I think by the time NAB rolls out, we're going to see the official pricing schedule for the new Matrice series. From what I've been told, the whole pricing isn't really figured out yet with the Matrice series, so that should be done by the time we see NAB. But also, DJI is releasing something that's kind of fascinating to me. And it was actually fascinating to one of my tech friends, but for different reasons. DJI supposedly will be releasing a new gimbal, a new Ronin-style gimbal. Now, what would make this gimbal significantly more valuable than the other gimbals? It's very simple. Active track. Everyone wants that buttery smooth motion, and very few people know how to get it.
Right.
Now, that being said, it's a lot easier when you can use a sort of touch interface to get shots that you want. Like you want a nice little tilting pan, well, just program it. You want to active track this person while you're riding on the back of a golf cart, just active track. I mean, like, to have this ability to actively track subjects through the gimbal itself and have the gimbal move on its own is really powerful.
So it's doing the buttery smooth work for you.
Yes.
Basically.
Now, I don't think it's always completely buttery smooth. At least I've noticed you really have to jack up the settings to have the deadband just right so that when the gimbal actually stops moving, it stops moving slowly.
Right.
So that's really crucial.
Because it seems like it'll be, and then it needs to catch up with itself and do sort of weird little idiosyncratic things like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of little gain settings and sensitivity settings and, yaw endpoint settings that you have to mess with and whatnot and calibrate. But my tech friend was fascinated by this. He's like, I can't believe DJI is able to make a gimbal that communicates with just about many DSLRs, many different type of cameras, and is able to interpolate that footage to actually be able to track subjects. I mean, you think about that. They're not even using a DJI camera. It's a separate camera, supposedly. Right. So if they release this gimbal, I'm telling you right now, I'm buying one, because to be able to have one of these, to even put on a crane or the back of a truck and
the back of a boat,
or the back of a boat and control it autonomously, is incredible. Now, here's the irony, Rob. Remember we talked about Unique firing a bunch of people a couple weeks ago?
Yep.
And the VP of marketing had a side project, and he was working on a gimbal that could do active track like the Solo Shot. Doesn't this sound a lot similar?
It does sound very similar.
It's interesting, huh? It's kind of like when someone comes up with an idea, DJI tries to one-up them as fast as possible.
Oh, yeah. A lot of things come to mind as far as what's going on there potentially, but I don't know how beneficial it is to talk about them.
And to give DJI the benefit of the doubt, when we live in a world where we're presenting a bunch of engineers in separate companies, like if we take Apple and Samsung, for example, and we present them with the same customers, giving them the same feedback, chances are they're going to come up with a product that's pretty similar.
True.
You know, and I think that's why we're seeing so many lawsuits back and forth from DJI to Unique and Apple to Samsung. It's like, you know, if we present the same problem, we're going to get similar solutions.
Right.
They're going to be slightly different, but they're going to be similar as a whole. And honestly, I think that's really cool, just that we have the competition.
Well,
you know?
And that's frankly at even the highest level, and no disrespect at all to the high-level engineers of our world, but that's the nature of engineering. You have some foundational basis upon which you build from. And in this case, maybe it's Apple's phone, and then people start building from that, or vice versa. And then they start building from each other, and it becomes a mutually beneficial process that, you know, I don't know that there's necessarily blame or stealing or any of that. It's just the way the process works.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's kind of natural evolution of products, I guess, if you will.
It's exactly true. But anyway, at NAB, we're expecting to see this spark. We're expecting to see more information and pricing on the Matrice 200 series. We're also expecting to see a new gimbal. Yes, Rob?
So on the Matrice 200 series, what's important about that series, and why should people care about the Matrice?
The Matrice is really important because it does one thing that many other drones haven't been able to do out of the box. And I say out of the box because you can wire a Matrice 600 to have two separate light bridges. So you can have two cameras, two independent cameras. You can run two separate video feeds, but you've never been able to really work those two video feeds in tandem. You've never had an interface to be able to work both of those at the same time. Now with the Matrice 210, you're going to be able to have two cameras with a light bridge downlink. You're going to be able to control both of them and have an FPV camera. So the Matrice series is going to be really, really crucial for enterprise grade work if you're trying to get one thermal image of something and an EO image at the same time, and to be able to overlay those to make decisions is really, really powerful.
Right.
But the Matrice 200 is also powerful because it's got official weather protection, so it's IP43, so it can essentially fly in some wind. If you actually look at the hardness ratings and what that means, it essentially means that it can take sprays of water at an angle, but it doesn't mean it can take water at a direct horizontal angle. And in fact, it's really not even... it's not that killer of protection. And to be honest with people, if you know how to fly well, flying in rain before it was illegal is actually quite easy in a DJI product because their ESCs are always covered.
Right.
So that being said, the Matrice 200 it's portable and it's flexible. Unlike the M600, it can carry multiple payloads, which the M600 can do if you totally customize it. And that's what John McBride is really known for in RMUS, creating those enterprise-grade M600s.
Right.
But the Matrice 200 is something that's small enough, too, where it can go on a fire truck. It can go in the back of a policeman's car. You know, it can go on a farmer's tractor. It's portable enough. It's small enough, but it has multiple points of redundancy. It's got, you know, if you buy the 210, it's got the two different camera packages. There are two gimbals, so you can, you know, hook up an XT or you can hook up a Z30, but they're both very expensive cameras, as you know.
Sure.
And the interesting part, though, is that what I just learned is that DJI is actually going to limit who can buy these. They're trying to say, this is not for you photographers and videographers. This is for enterprise grade. This is a serious machine. You know, to get into the thing, you're in it for 10 grand.
I still wonder how they're going to do that, if that's actually what they're thinking.
2 different ways. I asked the same question 2 different ways. Number 1, on the Z30, you can't do RAW. No RAW. So the RAW functionality
So they engineer it to weed people out.
Yes.
Effectively.
Yes.
Okay.
Which I think is actually brilliant. But for me as a videographer, I would love to have an M210. And I know we're on the list to get one. And actually, we're pretty high up on the list to get one. But that being said, I can't wait because imagine if I can fly FPV, and you know how I fly. I like to get low. I like to get close. I like to fly through fences if you haven't seen our website. I like that engaging aspect of video. And if I can have 2 separate camera operators on my platform as I'm flying around, you can only imagine the footage that's possible because you can have one camera getting wide, one camera zooming in, and one pilot who knows what he's doing is a very, very powerful thing.
Right.
But they're limiting who can buy it. They're limiting the raw functionality. And you know what? John McBride made a good point. And he said, you know, if I were to have raw functionality, I would need some sort of SSD on the Bird, and the Bird doesn't have that. So that's why they're pushing people to go Inspire 2, because you can shoot the raw functionality, and you've got the speed of a drive that can write fast enough to even capture that footage.
Right.
So, but again, I think having that M210 is going to be really, really cool and on big shoots. So
we do know that a lot of people are wanting to get into more of the enterprise side of things, the industrial side of things, and it's going to give people the option to do that.
It is going to give people the option to do that. It's going to give people option to do that, though, in a flexible, portable, powerful way. The other thing that the Matrice series has, if you get the RTK version, which, by the way, this is RTK GPS, so this is centimeter grade GPS, not from side to side, but also in elevation. But here's the kicker. It's on GLONASS's network. It's not on our network. It's not on the USA network. But also, this is one of the very first drones that has some level of magnetic protection against its flight controllers. So if you're flying power lines and you get some coronal ejection, you now have protection against that electromagnetic interference. Now, that being said, I still wouldn't fly this drone between, you know, my positive and negative power lines on a power pole, but that's just, you know, knowledge you pick up from doing power line inspections.
Sure.
I think with the dual battery pack, with the multiple IMUs, the multiple compasses, the fact that we do have dual batteries, the batteries are self-heating, this really is a bird that can operate in any environment. And that's what makes it powerful.
Yeah.
It's portable, and it's powerful, and it's reliable.
It sounds like a great bird, and we're excited to get our hands on one.
We are, and we've got a couple of classes coming up on how to do industrial inspections. Well, we're really excited about that. Many different types of stuff too, you know. In fact, even Keenan this morning was saying in the Drone U community, he's like, I've got a new service for my drone, guys. Wait for it. That's right. I mean, like, as I'm reading it, this is how I'm picturing it, you know, like, that's right, Bob. And he was like, you know what the new service is? Baby gender announcements.
Okay, so help me out with that. What do you mean?
Okay, let's say me and you.
This isn't serious.
Oh, it's serious.
Except
it is. Yeah, Ilker stands up. It's serious. So, okay, if we have let's say we have a baby shower, and if you girls out there, you're watching this and I'm wrong, just go ahead, be nice and tell us. Keyword, be nice. The way I understand it is that if a girl has a baby shower with her friends and she announces the gender of her baby, now a drone can come in dressed as a stork and drop a blue egg or a pink egg, some color thing, and
cool.
And that it signifies whether it's a boy or a girl.
For only $79.95.
I know, right? How do you market that? Let me tell you what I can do with my drone, ladies. If you want to tell your friends the gender of your baby, I've got the coolest way to do it.
That's right.
I'm talking about flying in a stork and dropping that blue egg. It might not actually be a stork, and I might give your girlfriends a haircut, but it'll be worth it. Yours today for $99.99. Sign up now.
Oh my word, I'm tired. That just wore me out about you guys.
That's my fake announcer voice.
Anyways, that's interesting. Atta baby Keenan. I mean, that's thinking outside the box for
hey,
sure.
Man, if someone asked you to do something,
from search and rescue to gender delivery.
Hey, he's saving lives.
That is
both ways he
Keenan,
goes.
you're one versatile dude. I got to tell you, that's impressive.
Storks are so yesterday, says Hilker.
Oh man.
Oh
Apparently
man.
Not. All right. Anything else about NAB?
Not to my knowledge. I know that some other drone manufacturers are going to be there.
What are you most excited about going about? I mean, why are you most excited about going?
Why am I most
because
excited
this
about
is something
going?
that we kind of talked about. Should we be there? And you're very, very adamant that we be there. So why are you so excited to be there?
I was really adamant because I told you new things were going to be coming out, and which has ended up being true. I'm really excited because I get to see people who I've always known in the industry. I get to see them. I get to hang out with them, make new relationships, find out what's new in the industry.
So networking is a really important part of NAB. So,
yes.
I mean, that's one of the main reasons that we go.
That is a huge reason why we go.
The point being, it's a main reason others might want to go. Get to know people in the industry.
Another reason that we go is to give you guys an insight as to what's going on at NAB, to get nice, beautiful B-roll footage and get interviews, to give you the most up-to-date information on what is going on at NAB. So we will be there bright and early to get that information out to you. But it's good to know about the new stuff that's coming out, Rob. It's good to know, the high season, which is, it's ironic actually. The high season is starting, right? The summer season, it's warming up. Things are firing up. April's already fully booked. Just gone.
Right.
Bye. It's gone. And my May is getting there too. And then June, I'm planning on not doing anything so we can be fully in fly-in mode. But it's really about the new equipment, learning what's new, what's coming out. FLIR may have something new out. I really want to go talk to Parrot, actually, believe it or not.
Really? Cool.
For this, is it the Sequoia camera? I think it is. To really talk about that. But it's all about relationships, guys. And it's taken me a very long time, even though I'm good at building relationships, it's taken me a really long time to understand the importance of relationships with business.
Yeah.
And these conferences, NAB is the biggest one for production. So I actually have a lot of other things I want to go see. Like what happens if your hard drive fails on you type stuff, and what's the best hard drive, because you never want to be in the position that I'm in right now. Trust me. So I'm looking at content delivery stuff. I'm really looking at ways to speed up and create more efficient systems on getting classes out faster.
Right.
So
that is critical. Absolutely. I'm kind of hopeful. Everybody knows about DJI, obviously. I'm really hopeful that you mentioned Parrot, that we'll find out more about maybe some other opportunities or options out there that are good options outside of DJI, because competition is good.
Yes, I agree.
And everybody, I'm just going to use the term, loves DJI for what they offer and what they do, but world domination, I don't think, is what any of us want.
No.
From a particular manufacturer.
I'm hopeful that Unique is going to put out something new. I don't know if that is the case, but I'm hopeful based on talks I've had with them to see what they put out. But I agree with you 100%. Competition, I mean, if we didn't have competition, we would never have innovation. I mean, the perfect example is yesterday on CNBC. Like Tesla released its quarterly reports and they've sold more cars than ever.
Yeah.
And then Ford and GM come back and they're selling as pretty much as little cars as they have in the last decade, which says a lot considering the recession was in 08, 09. If we didn't have Tesla to push the envelope and say, screw you, big three, we're going to make electric cars and we're going to make them cool and we're going to make them fun to drive so that people create an emotional connection with our cars, and they don't buy your cars anymore.
Well,
and that's exactly what's happening.
Absolutely. And it has pushed the other manufacturers to go very, very heavy into research on electric cars to the point that I don't think they would have gone without Tesla.
I agree 100%.
So I think that competition is huge.
I think it also pushed them in many other ways too.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
Fuel efficiency has pushed the evolution of the EcoBoost engines. And, when I was on Ford's lot in Arizona 2 days ago, every single car on the lot had a turbo in it. Every single one. Think about that.
Yeah, kind of scares me.
Why? Because
I don't know. I've always had trouble with turbos.
Why?
Maybe that's because I don't know. Maybe I have bad luck.
Well, some of the most reliable cars on...
I got that darn Mini out in the parking lot that has a turbo.
Oh, well,
Toast.
that's BMW, though.
Oh, all right. Well,
Yeah.
nonetheless.
Yeah.
It's another turbo with a problem.
Yeah, that
Whoever
turbo has
made
a
it.
cracked block. So shocker that there's a problem.
Well, whatever.
Which didn't get that way by driving it easy, Rob.
You'd be surprised.
But I will say what gives me hope, because I've had that same thought, is that Subaru has some of the most reliable cars on the road today, and a lot of them are turboed. So
Yeah.
anyway, but
For sure.
I hope this show gave you some information, what's coming out at NAB. If you've got some insight, you've got some stuff, share it with us. Let us know. Go over to our YouTube page, subscribe. If you have a question, go to askdroneu.com. And if you want to elevate your experience, if you just want to be a better pilot, whether you want to turn your passion into profit or not, you just want to be a better pilot, you want to learn the 5 ways to not crash, you want to learn the advanced cinematic moves, how to do those, you got to check out the Drone U, become a member. So many people are right now. Our new website and new classes are going up. By April 12th, I hear, is the magic date. We don't know. I'm not promising anything. Don't quote me on that.
No promises.
I said April. Okay. But anyway.
One thing we do want to let people know is particularly those that listen to us and subscribed on Podomatic. Not a lot of folks, but some of you probably have done that. That is something that's going to be changing with this website change. So we'll have more information out there, but just be aware there's going to need to be a change on your end as far as how you listen. But again, we'll give you more information on that.
Definitely. In the first 4 days of the month, we already have 21,000 downloads.
Hallelujah.
That's a lot of
You guys
people.
are awesome. We really do appreciate you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your questions. It's humbling.
It really is.
It really is humbling.
But you know what? That's good. That means you guys are getting something out of these podcasts, which is the whole idea. So
And the only thing that I am sorry about is that we can't get to every question, at least not fast enough.
Can you tell Rob is a sweetheart? He's got the
kills me.
biggest heart you'll ever meet.
On that note,
On that bombshell, that's going to do it for us today. My name is Paul.
my name is Rob.
And he's the big sweetheart.